Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali. This is a graph I've shown of the energy that different products and electrical, and then to the radioactive energies put out. And I've emphasized that, the almost safe low is our electrical appliances. And then you got, radio waves here, radio frequencies. This is the level where they electrocute somebody to death, right? And no one would ever, then you look at when you're going up here to this level of intensity, you are dealing with energy that is even greater than what is in an X-ray machine. X-ray, we've got gamma rays, and this is what an awful lot of particle radiation coming out of all nuclear facilities. They not only have to emit noble gases, which contain these particulates, hot radioactive particles within them, but they also have to cool them suckers down, or they would all melt down through the earth. And so each nuclear power plant uses up to 1 million gallons of fresh water. They have to use fresh water, not salt water, because the salt water would be corrosive. Ask anybody who has a car in places that are nearer the ocean shoreline, and they don't keep their cars very long. So they have to use fresh water. And then what do they keep it? No, 1 million gallons per minute. They dump it right back into the environment. And so Fukushima, though, was an amazingly awful highlight so that we could notice and pinpoint the damage. That's not what they had in mind, because in my firm determination, 31111. Come on, you know how these people are with numbers. That was a deliberate explosion. There's other data, but I'm not going to get into all of that. And so this level of energy popping off of one atom causes catastrophic destruction to the material world in every sense, organic or inorganic. It's just going to rip the atomic structure of whatever it's right next to apart. That's why it causes vast consequences, that because they're so epic and beyond any poison that we're used to dealing with. Lead ain't going to do what radiation does. Nobody uses lead to kill, a death row inmate, okay? But nobody also uses this stuff because everybody in the room would die, okay? So I ran across an article today, which is the reason why I even bothered to show up here, because lots of stuff is happening. I don't want this to be too long, but the ground is moving so rapidly in one part of Southern California that a state of emergency has been declared. I'm going to read some of this article because it's really good. If the ground under your feet is moving up to 10 inches a week, that might be a sign that it is time to relocate. Can I emphasize that? Can I get a hallelujah? I said that shortly after Fukushima in a share on the channel that they'll never get back to me, because I actually went to my old Google sign in, and I went and tried to lodge, because they say things have changed. They have Mark Zuckerberg on trial, and he's like, yeah, Biden was having me do all of this censorship. I'm like, I look at them China videos of just the hell that is happening in China, and I'm like, and they'll use the Western nations as a comparison. This is what you do when you have freedom of speech. Oh, let's go check Bill Gates on that one. Bill Gates, unsolvable problem is free speech. There's a bunches of them. Kamala, also Catastrophe Kamala, came out and said that free speech is the problem. And they're trying to recruit the young to agree with this, to go along with this, because they've recruited a lot of people with a lot of emotional problems. That's why Dick Cheney endorsed Kamala, because it's all whiteism. It's all smoke and mirrors of them trying to keep authority, keep control. And they know they need to encourage the guys who stop buying Budweiser and are shutting down Harley Davidson. And I don't know if they're shutting it down, but the whole DEI thing where they're trying to attach wokery to black you and me when we ain't that people, okay? But all of it is to keep us just entrapped, ensnared. And the whole free speech thing, when I'm looking at the China videos, I'm like, but they're doing the same thing over here. And they have to get more and more just in your face with it, like in China, like with the CCP, because they've run out of time with Fukushima. There's no more time left because it is so catastrophic. Even Elon Musk just recently came out saying that they need to form a new republic that's ruled just by men. When they say that, they just mean white men. And if they have any token black people on there, they're going to be struck raving mad, or they're going to be not really black like Kamala. Okay, but let's get back to the 10 inches per day problem. What is current? What I did want to say here is relocate. Years back, I did the video, and that's where I got all veered off. But I did the video on move it, move off the West Coast right now. And this was like 2 years after Fukushima, after studying what it was doing. I was like, oh, dang. So let's go over it. What is currently taking place in Rancho Palos Verdes is perhaps the most extreme example of the geophysical instability that is plaguing much of the state of California at this point. This was never a problem before. Rancho Palos Verdes is about 30 miles away from downtown Los Angeles. And the constant land movement in that community is busting gas lines, causing homes to sink, and creating enormous cracks in the road. If you were to walk through Rancho Palos Verdes right now, you would see that it currently looks like something out of a science fiction movie. I don't know if this is it. But this is good enough because this is in California and land movement, cracking roads, sinking homes. I cannot play this. They will not let me do that. So I just show you the pictures, right? Certain people, they really, really fear. And you learning about the horror of radiation, that's their best hope of genocide is our ignorance and our hopelessness. That's what they try. It's the demoralization of all of humanity going on right now, where they got so much like perversion and ridiculousness going on. It's just crazy. And so they're using that to make us feel like there's no hope. I'm sorry. I'm the anti-nuclear who's all about hope, because I know Allah built this jammer here. Ain't nothing taking him down, and thereby anybody with him ain't going down either. That's just the way it goes. But I don't believe in the, heaven in the sky kind of nonsense. When we all die, it's all going to be okay. No. If there was a heaven, what the heck would they want with a bunch of people who do nothing? Who just go, oh, God, they're so scary. No, stop it. They're trying to catch us. They're trying to out better our spiritual, just I don't want to say hegemony, because spirituality is it's something that is offered by the one and only, and all people who are humble can avail themselves of understanding that life is about us more than it is about just me, 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 me. I mean, you got to take care of you, no doubt, but what are you taking care of you for? Because if you were all by yourself, you sure as heck would be feeling mighty lonely, okay? So that spirit where you can then see beyond your own picayune needs and desires to the whole community at large, that is so sacred. That's beautiful, okay? So right here, they're going over this community, Rancho Palos Verdes. And they got sandbags. The streets are sinking. The houses are collapsing. It's just crazy. I would say, I don't know. I'm going to go by what it says, 10 inches per day. But, this looks like more than that. And this is not something that was happening before Fukushima. So stop, okay? That power with Fukushima, 4 of the corium, that's the core of the fuel rods, melted out of the pools into the mantle of the earth below. And that's what's causing this, because that's what that kind of power does. Right? So this ain't no joke. California and Nevada have been rocked by 945 earthquakes in just the past week. This is from February of this year. And I don't go over these little quakes because humanity, human nature, it makes, after a while, things seem like normalization. It normalizes it. You become apathetic. And I don't want you to be apathetic. I want you to hear my warning and to share with everybody you know. And that reminds me, let me say it while I'm thinking of it. I cherish your commentary. Never feel as if you cannot put your own interpretation of what the heck is going on right down there in the comments. If it is the science of radiation, oh heck yeah, I'm going to correct you on that, but I'm always going to be polite. If you're being polite, I will be politer. But I'm just saying, this is what's happening to our planet, and they got every single ridiculous distraction they can, so we pay no attention, right? They know what's going on, but they're so, these are a really busted down group of folk. I'm not saying each and every single one of them, but for it to get this bad, if the earth is destroyed, then game over. Like, that was bad enough that we need to stop it right now, right here. We are an amazing people. Please do not listen to these agents and operatives up here, especially if they aren't saying anything about Fukushima fallout whatsoever. And every single one of them isn't. Okay? How are you going to not talk about something that's in our daggone food when our babies are and I don't mean just the little ones, but I just got 2 more articles of young brothers just dropping dead on a field of athletics, and it wasn't because they were shot. It wasn't because some external reason. Everybody just, it's a mystery. We don't know. Same thing they said about all the dead creatures in the Pacific. Okay? But nobody, these dudes never mention anything. This is the International Atomic Energy Agency. This is the one that even rules over the United Nations radiation organization. It rules over everybody, okay? It tells them what to say because it is on the side of the nuclear power plants. It's on the side of all of that. But they still, that's what I'm saying. Like, the West is so much more like effective in pretending that, oh no, we're all above board. We mean to share the truth. So they have this map because they figure pretty much nobody's going to go and look at this map. But when you come on over here to Japan, God dang, there's right here 245 samples. This really deep blue one is 32,224. These are samples. Let me go to one that doesn't have so many. 5 samples. It shows the radioactive nuclides they found in that sample. If there's a portion where you don't see any sampling done, that's not because there's no radiation there. That's just where they didn't test. And they don't test for everything. There's almost 3,000 of these radionuclides, and none of them are safe and harmless. So when they find cesium, everything else is there too. And so all the creatures dying, you never heard any of the scientists saying a goddamn thing about radiation. And here, I guess Palo Alto Verde is somewhere around here where they were hammered. I already showed that projection map when Fukushima first popped off. But then there's the underground stuff. And that's why you got quakes going on all over this planet. You got volcanoes popping a cork constantly, right? We got stuff going on over here on the East Coast that I'm just like, oh. Oh, I don't know exactly where to tell you to go when I say move off the West Coast. But I would say it more than likely is still safer here just because of how destabilized it is. There's different levels of earthquakes, and the higher up they occur, it depends on the looseness of the terra firma around. So you will get a greater level of something called liquefaction. Now, that's where the quake happens. And if it's strong enough, the actual ground starts to take on the properties more like water. You can't stand on water. Buildings will not last standing on top of water unless they're shaped like a boat, okay, or a ship or something of that sort. So I would figure with all the gigantic quakes happening all over the planet on a constant basis. God damn, when I come to this, the United States Geological Survey map, this sucker is so off the hook, just getting larger and more intense that I take little screen captures of it because I'm like, no, I cannot feed anybody's apathy out there. Anybody's just thinking that, oh, well, this is just the way our planet is. God dang, no, it's not. And so every day there's stuff popping off on the West Coast. And so they got that, caldera over there, the underground mega volcano. I don't know what the heck will be going on with that. I'm just worried about you and the fact that there's an awful lot of activity going on up in here and they ain't saying a dang word about it. So how in the world are like this? How is this not like this was published February 2015. 6,000% increase in cancer rates at Fukushima site. And they got this massive increase of cancer rates over here and in the West now. No, it's not now. It's if you're around nearby a nuclear power plant, your cancer rates have already been going up since they opened the sucker. So this just got dropped. Nobody's saying anything about this. Japan has a secrecy act so that they make the CCP look like they're really good guys because they ain't telling a daggone word to their own people. It's crazy. It's crazy. And this right here, stunning bucket list hiking trail was forced to shut down after dozens of visitors mysteriously fall sick. There's an aspect of radiation, that's what I'm saying, is so much, it's so vast what it does because it destroys all life. Well, in destroying life, you increase those pathogens that feed off of death. What do you call them? I can't remember the name right now because I got so many names and things swirling through my head. But when you have like vultures, not culture vultures, but so on, that feed off of carrion and all the rest of that, these are pathogens that survive in very acidic environments. When we get sick, that's because we've been eating foods that are producing a more heavily acidic. You need acid and you need alkaline. People think you could get away with just eating all alkaline. No, you're going to die because then you just drinking chlorine bleach. These pathogens become more powerful in an acidic environment. That's why the oceans are the oxygen, because the microbes that produce oxygen are being obliterated by the radiation. And that produces a perfect environment for these pathogens to survive. And I'm beginning to conclude that the ambient radiation that has been intensified all over is increasing the pathogens not only in the waterways, but just in wherever there's a nook and cranny that the radiation is going to pile up. It's also, so here we have stunning bucket list hiking trail is forced to shut down after dozens of visitors mysteriously fall sick. I've done reports on, there was a mud race in California, and everybody was throwing up and getting sick. Same thing here. There were people who they were thrown 50 to 60 episodes of vomiting. These people had to actually fly back home. These were tourists, and they were in Hawaii, the Kalau Trail, my apologies, in Hawaii has been shut down after at least 37 hikers contracted norovirus. This is where you got all these viruses. Not the corona stereo one, okay? I'm just saying, nobody, you have to be able to isolate these things using conscious postulates, and they never did it with that. That one was too patent. And I also looked at how it affected the young ones. Young people are going to be more horribly affected by radiation than older people because they're absorbing more, their bodies are growing, they require more. Thereby, their bodies, if they're eating crap, are going to be hella acidic, and they're going to be more prone to all sorts of things. So that was my first tip, that whole thing was like, okay, don't you got to come at me with the science. And they were coming at me with just a belief system run by Anthony Fauci. That was easily dispensed. So I was saddened to see so many people believing that crap, right? I've been right and exact in presenting the science of radiation. So that it's like, I'm no oracle, I'm no, like mystery, whatever. I'm just telling you, these things I predicted years ago. And no, there were good people who did the research for themselves and said, this ain't kidding. But a lot of people were like, oh, she must just be crazy, right? And that's part of it. They depend on us looking at each other as if we're all stupid and we don't know what we're doing. And no, destroying the only planet we have, you can't get stupider than that, right? And so these people, I wish them healing, but they're not going to know how to deal with what they're looking at, not at all, because they probably inhaled a lot of radiation particles right into their lungs. A lot of folks come and saying, I got cancer, I got lung cancer, and I don't smoke. I'm so fit, and I got cancer. Oh, what's up with all the colon cancers? It's just right in our faces, right? Go back to the Maris map. It's right in our faces. A lot of the tritium goes on up in here, like 135 samples. They found, whoa, look at all that. They found cesium, strontium, plutonium. I don't know what TC is, and more plutoniums. There's different variants of plutonium, but mostly it'll be tritium. And tritium is not a friendly, cute isotope. It's radioactive water. It's hot. It's melting the ice caps. So global warming, oh yeah, it's real, but they hope that we'll do no further research when these suckers are putting out gamma radiation. Let me go back to me. And though it's not all about me, almost none of this is about me. It's about these devils lying to you and making you certain that Black folks just, we're not up to this level, or that you got to be hearing this from one of them popular channels, okay, when they're the ones who sequester the algorithms. Which reminds me, oh my goodness, Dr. Shi, I love this is his photo. He's an incredibly, I'm very blessed, he's a very, very talented photographer just in and of itself. His way is anything he puts his mind to, he he becomes as much of an expert at it as he can, but he really just studies it in massive depth. So the photography is something that he also has studied and has just aced 100%. So anyway, I like the way that looks right there. But definitely support our mission. Donate, right? And the brother has up here all of the not all of, he's got so many lectures that he recorded, and he's got our mighties up here, teachings from them that you might have never heard. Maybe you could find them on YouTube. Maybe you can't. I don't know. They're changing it. But you could come here and avail yourself of knowledge that is just in one place. It's all in one place. And a lot of them are for free, but we ain't got it like we could just give everything to everybody, because we are organic beings just like you, just like you. So we produce products for those who are like, well, I ain't going to donate. Well, then come here and grow, right? With the knowledge that is here, with the information on how to be a healthier you. And for me, he put a whole section right here, Ajali Shabazz, where you can come and get my products, which are my silk hair cream. Oh my goodness, this stuff is a bomb. I've just improved it to the point where I'm just like, wow, stuff's amazing. And my soaps and my books, This Black Nation, which is the sequel to This Black, and this one right here. This is the background that I wanted to share, but I wasn't. I was like, I'm just me, okay? But this book right here, Furnace of Affliction, Healing Radiation Damage to the Human Body, that book will get you right, okay? So you'll find it right there on 25,000yearcycle.org, because I'm about a righteous fight against the carnage that these people are bringing to our magnificent planet. Allah said, just ask for it back, and he will restore this mighty creation to its rightful stewards. Okay? All right. Mwah. Share, join, comment, all that good stuff, all right? Because I ain't stopping, but with your help, I go a heck of a lot faster. Love you. Straight Black pride, and we own forever. Peace and blessings.